Welcome back to another episode of the Coast Boys podcast. My name is Izzy. I'm joined today by my co-host Gabe, and we are joined by our good friend Luis Velasquez. Luis, how you doing?
Yeah, man. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for doing this. It's been a long time coming. We talked about doing this for a while now. You're a busy guy. You know, we always try to get you on, but of course, life gets in the way. For those that don't know who you are, you want to just explain a little bit about yourself?
So I have my kinesiology degree, and I've played sports my whole life, so that's been a big part of my life. But as of late, I also got my nursing degree. So I've been working as a nurse for almost 3 months now. So that's kind of been taking over my life a little bit. But I'm trying to balance, training people during the day and then working night shift at the hospital. So it's been pretty hard, but where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. And we met at San Bernardino. So I think when I got there, you were on your way out, or you had finished playing soccer. So before we get into what you're doing now, because we really want to talk about that, the training, and then of course the school and the nursing and stuff. Why don't you talk a little bit about, like you mentioned, growing up you played soccer and stuff. Like, talk about your path and how you ended up at San Bern, and then we can go from there.
So it was crazy how I ended up at San Bernardino. I actually played soccer at MJC because I wanted to get priority registration. So that was like a big thing. Like, MJC is like super impacted, so it's kind of hard to get classes if you don't get priorities. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go try for the team. I went and I tried out and I made it. I was super hyped. And like a 4-year university playing soccer, that wasn't even like on my plans. I was just like, I'm just trying to get my priority registration, get through school, because I wanted to do nursing. I was always in my head like, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a nurse. But I always played sports, so that was always there too. So initially, I wanted to do athletic training, and I was taking my classes, and I was like, oh, this is a little easy. And then I started doing a little bit of research. And like the pay wasn't so good, and it's really hard to find a job around the area that I live. So I live in the Central Valley. So I was like, okay, well, what's a good alternative? My brother was a nurse. He gave me a bunch of advice, and I was like, all right, cool. That sounds good. I'm going to give that a try. So he pretty much told me, like, try this CNA program. The CNA is kind of like a nurse assistant. So you got to do all the crappy stuff, like, wipe butts, all the goods. So, yeah. So I did that, and I was like, okay, I like interacting with people, but I knew I didn't want to be a nurse assistant. So I was like, I want to do the next thing up, which is the nurse. So I was doing all my classes, and I was playing soccer. And going towards like the last semester at MJC, I played in my second season, and one of my teammates was getting recruited to San Bernardino, and that guy asked him, hey, like, do you guys have any defenders? So he told us. We went for a trial, and then he ended up wanting us to go there. So he took a couple of us. So I was like, all right, cool. That totally pushed my plans back. So, I got together with my family, and I was telling them, okay, so I want to do nursing, but I have this opportunity. So my family was just like, you know what, like, the soccer opportunity may never come again, and nursing will always be there. So, everyone's dream, I just try to go pro or whatever, So we decided to go to the soccer route and push nursing pretty much back, because I had finished all my prereqs. So for nursing, you got to do core classes before you can apply for nursing programs. So I did my core classes, and the opportunity came up. So I ended up going to San Bernardino. And I played soccer, and there I couldn't do nursing with soccer because the time schedules are so crazy. So I ended up changing my degree to kinesiology, because I already knew, like, eventually I wanted to, open up my own gym eventually. So I got my kinesiology degree, and I finished playing soccer at San Bernardino. And then I came back to Modesto, where I live, and I applied for the nursing program. Because, starting up a gym is super, super expensive. So I had to find a way to make good money and work minimal days, which is the cool thing about nursing, that a full-time schedule is 3 days a week working 12-hour shifts. So I ended up doing that. I came back, got my nursing degree, and then this pandemic kind of messed things up. So I graduated May 2020, and then so it was a hard process of trying to get a job, because I would assume the hospitals were so busy that they wouldn't have people to, train the new nurses. So yeah, I graduated May 2020, got my license in November, and then I got hired and started March. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Where are you working at right now?
I work at St. Joseph's Medical Center in downtown Stockton.
How far is that from where you're at?
From where I'm at, it's about 35 minutes roughly. But it's cool because I work night shift, so it's like reverse traffic.
Yeah. Damn.
So what do your hours look like then? What time do you start and what time do you clock out?
So there's like at the hospital, there's only 2 shifts. There's day shifts and pretty much night shifts, because there's 12-hour shifts. So my schedule right now, working nights, is I work from 7 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. And the schedule varies. Because at the hospital, you have to work at least 2 weekends of the month. So like this week I worked, so I worked last night actually, but it's Monday, Tuesday, Friday this week. But the following week is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it just always varies. I don't really get to pick my schedule too much.
Oh, okay.
Is your sleep schedule all messed up, like on the days that you have off?
Yeah, the days that I have, I try to get clients in. So it's pretty cool at the hospital. I get my schedule a month and a half in advance. So what I do is I pretty much get my schedule, like I take a picture, and then I fill in like I make like a little fitness calendar, and I send it to all my clients, and I'll be like, this is the days that I work. These are the days that I have off. So just, book with me. I don't have as many clients now because it's kind of hard. People like to stick to like a routine, like 3 times a week. And with my schedule, it's kind of difficult because, 1 week I work these days, the other week I work the other days. So it's kind of hard. But, the people that are been, super committed, they're like, it's cool. Like, we like training with you. We'll work around your schedule. Just let us know ahead of time. So that's kind of how I book it. Like sometimes I'll get off of work at 7:30 in the morning, come home, sleep for a couple hours, and I'll wake up and I'll just train people.
Damn. So what is the passion? Is it nursing or is it personal training?
I'm going to be honest. Nursing is not the passion. I enjoy doing it, but it's always been the training, because when I go to the hospital, it feels like a job. When I train people, it's just like, I love, interacting with people, and just, it's crazy how people don't see what they can do. They don't see the potential. They're just like, I can't do this. And they just like shut off. And, as you like, everything's about building. Everything's a process. You got to build a foundation, and then everything goes up from there. It's like a house. So, we start at the bottom, basic movements, and then we make our way up. So, I just love it, dude. It's a process. And like, the people that are committed will stick to the grind and just be like, it's okay. I'm seeing the big picture instead of short term, because everybody loves instant, gratitude. But, in fitness and in working out, and it just doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's, just from like personal experience, I think that's the most frustrating part about it, is that you want something to be done instantly. You want abs instantly. You want it to be like, okay, I did an ab workout. You're sitting there in the mirror looking at yourself, it's very much it's very much not the case, and it's like a long, tedious process. And I feel like that's a lot of the like influencers online, or the programs that you see on YouTube, or like 30-minute workout or 10-minute workout, like for convenience, and it's like a quick fix. A lot of times it's not the case. Like, do you see that with your clients, that they come to you and they want something like instantly?
Yeah, so I just get like different, before I train anybody, I ask them like, hey, okay, what's your goal? And like, some of them are a little unrealistic. Like, I want to drop 30 pounds healthy in a month. I'm like, hold on. Like, like, let's, you got to sit there and analyze things. Like, how long did it take you to get where you're at right now? You know, of your bad habits, whether it's eating, whether it's not exercising. Like you have to also be realistic, you know? If it took you 5 years to get where you're at, how do you expect in 1 month to reverse all the bad stuff you did in those 5 years?
Mm-hmm. And another thing too is that, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And another thing too is like, obviously if they were just to do like rigorous exercise, they would see a drastic change, but it's like, how do you maintain that over a long period of time? You know?
And for me, the exercise part is like, the goal is not short term, it's longevity, because exercising is more than just, you know, looks. Like obviously everybody cares about the looks, like, oh, I want to look good, but there's so much like metabolic process going inside of your body that you can't even see. And that's the big thing that I explain. Like, you know, there's some, you know, stuff going on in your body that you can't see. And, you know, it's hard for people to wrap their head around that, because, you know, we live in a society where it's like, you need to be ripped, you need to have abs, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's kind of sucks, but, you know, people kind of like fold under that pressure.
Would you say that the most people that come to you, do they have like some background in weightlifting or some experience, or are they like just fresh, don't know what they're doing, and like you have to teach them from the very beginning?
It just varies. Like, you know, I got some people that, you know, have played sports their whole life, or they used to play sports and they're kind of like, you know, I still want to stay fit, because what happens a lot of time is like when you play sports your whole life, you're used to eating kind of whatever you want because you're used to like training. And that happens a lot where people like, oh, I'll eat whatever I want because I burn all these calories when I'm playing my sports, or I'm practicing, or I'm training. And then, you know, once you kind of retire, or your priorities shift, you know, it's kind of like, hold up, why am I gaining all this weight? And that happens quite a bit, actually. So
that was me.
it happens a lot more than you think, man.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. What do you, like, without getting too specific about your clients, like, what kind of people do you prefer training? Do you want to train and work with athletes, or do you want to work with people that are fresh and green and don't know or don't have an experience lifting and exercising?
That's a hard question. I mean, personally, because I've played sports my whole life, so I would say lean towards the athletes, because the athletes are always there to work and they're always there to, you know, get better, because the competition's always working and they're here like, I got to show up, I got to improve every single time. But then I also love, you know, people that have never lifted a weight in their life come in here and be like, I'll ask like, hey, have you done any of these movements? And then they're like, no, never even lifted a weight. Okay, cool. So we'll start with the basics. The big thing for me is I love to teach. And I feel like it's hard. It's hard for people to do stuff and not know why you're doing it. Does that make sense? Because I feel like for you, and then like my big thing too for me is I like to teach because I don't expect the people to work out here for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? So I like feeding them information, explaining why, like, we're doing this because of this, we're doing that because of that. And then that way, whenever they leave, if they decide to go work out in a different gym, that's okay with me. They kind of have an idea what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because, you know, people are going to get older, they're going to have kids, and I hope they can carry that information and teach their kids, or, you know, teach whoever. So that's a big thing for me, the teaching part, because, you know, I have them teach me how to do the exercise if I didn't know how to do it.
And who taught you that stuff? Where did you learn that from? Was it through the classes, through the colleges, or was it someone else like growing up that kind of showed you the ropes?
Honestly, man, like Matt, he was I interned. Matt is a strength and conditioning coach from Cal State San Bernardino, and I don't know, in my opinion, that was like one of the coolest mentors I've ever got, because he was also an instructor. So I pretty much took all his classes. Like if he was teaching a class, I made sure I'd take his class for sure. And he was just like hard, like super strict and hard. But at first, like during that time, I was like, man, why is this guy so mean, dude? Like, you know, this guy, he just like strict. But it's because of the attention to detail was his big thing. And he just kind of explained, because I would like stay after hours, like, you know, just, you know, pick his brain and ask him questions and stuff. And I also did my internship at at called the Tent. That's like our strength and conditioning facility for all the athletes in San Bernardino. And man, dude, he was just like a brain full of knowledge. It was crazy. And he's got like a solid background. Like he used to be the strength and conditioning coach for the Dodgers. Like he was legit, man.
Dude, he's a cool guy. It was so much fun to go work out with him. Like, it was a different vibe. It was something that I've never experienced before, and he was so like laid back, but it's like intense and motivates you at the same time. Like, it's really cool. And I think especially knowing that as like a kid or as a young student athlete, you're like, wow. Like, you're kind of like a wow factor, and people on the team, bro, would like, bro, like, who's that big fool? Is he Cuban or Puerto Rican? That big guy that plays with the Dodgers. What's his name? Big Yasiel, or what is his name? I'm drawing a blank. Big dude.
He played for the Padres?
No, he played for the Dodgers. And I remember Pete would always ask about him. And he's like, oh, man, he's a freak.
Oh, the dude with the red beard, huh? You talking about the...
I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. People, Dodgers fans listening to this are going to be like, what are you talking about?
Fans, they were just blanking out.
Gabe's a Dodgers fan. He should know this. Yeah, Yasiel or some weird... It's like a weird name, bro. How am I drawing a blank?
Oh, Yasiel Puig? Are you talking about Yasiel
That
Puig?
guy.
Yeah,
they're like, bro, how's
bro.
Puig? And Matt would always be like, oh my God, that guy's something else, bro. So other than Matt, who do you go to for advice? Like, who do you ask questions to? Like, if you're with a client and they ask you something that maybe you don't know the answer to, like, where do you get that information from?
So usually what I like to do is I've been reading a lot more. So if I don't know the answer, I'll tell them, hey, like, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Because, nobody knows everything. So what I like to do is if I don't know the answer, I'm just going to research it. And, whether it's reading books, whether it's reading articles, I like to go based on facts, not with people's opinions. So I'll go and I'll look up like, scholarly articles, just different stuff like that, like reliable sources. I like to go tend like that direction. Because honestly, I don't really have someone that I can just continually talk to, like on a, hey, let me text you. Hey, what do you know about this? I haven't really found that. And I don't feel like reaching out to Jackson every time I have a question would be a good idea. Just because I know he's probably busy teaching and stuff. So honestly, I do my own research, whether it's reading books. Like I buy a lot of like fitness books, and I have all my books from school because I got my Kinesiology Degree, so I took quite a few classes. And that's pretty much where I go. I try to get reliable sources, pretty much just read and try to figure things out.
Do you have anyone like that you follow online that is a good resource or shows good exercise movements?
I know you follow him too, Squat University. That is legit. I like to watch. I buy their books and I like to watch their stuff. That dude's legit, man. I think he's a physical therapist, but that guy's legit. I like Squat University. There's multiple. I just bought this book too, How to Be a Successful Trainer. That guy is legit too. If you guys are, into the business of training people, that book is really good too. I like to listen to Tim Grover. It's not so much fitness, but it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have heard Relentless or read that book. That guy used to train Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Oh, okay, I know. Okay, yeah. I know who that
if
is.
you need something to get you going, that right there. But fitness-wise, yeah, I like to. Those are usually, and I'll just read my books, and those are pretty much the only dudes that I like to lean towards.
Have you heard of Mind Pump podcast?
Yeah, like with Tony Salvatore and all those dudes.
Dude, those guys are sick,
legit, man. Yeah, dude.
I love that, bro.
Legit.
I told Gabe to listen to it. I just found it 2 weeks ago, and I'm hooked, bro. I can't stop listening to it. It's so entertaining.
Those dudes are legit. I like listening to their stuff. Yeah, those dudes, like when I have to commute to work, I listen to those podcasts. Those guys are, they got some good information on there. Those dudes are legit. I would recommend it.
Absolutely. Gabe, you need to check it out. I'm telling you, bro. This is the fourth time I'm telling you. There's a fourth time I'm telling you, and you still haven't done it.
Yeah, those dudes are legit, man. They know their stuff, and not that I'm like some special, but from what I've learned, similar beliefs. It's good.
It's always because you're like in a obviously all the jargon, and you're kind of like you have this advanced knowledge. So I'm sure when you listen to people talk about it, you're like, whoa, that's actually correct. You know, like it's not just this
because, like,
this bullshit on Instagram that I'm listening to. You know, like.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what happens a lot, man. Like these people get caught up because people look good, and that's crazy that's all it takes for you to like not get brainwashed, but like he looks good. What he's saying is right. You know what I mean? And that happens so much, and it's crazy. Like it sucks because then like the fitness industry gets a little gray because it's like, well, you know, let me see. Not that you need to have credentials to know your stuff, but it's kind of like, it's like being someone that has no background in like medicine being like, oh yeah, you should do this and this will work. It's like, no, like, you know, hold up. Like, I think there should be a lot more accreditation and stuff that needs to go through for, you know, people to kind of like, I don't know. Cause to me, like exercise can be used as medicine. You know what I mean? So if you don't do the medicine right, or you don't do things the right way, you're actually, instead of helping people, you're actually hurting people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
100%.
So, a lot of sense.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing is, you know, not that you need a certification, but at least you need I think there should be like a test that, you know, to make you qualified. Cause like for nursing, you need to pass like a state board. Like, okay, you need to pass a state board so you know what you're doing. You're not like, you know what I mean? And then for like medicine, for anything. And I think exercises can be used as medicine because, you know, like 80-something% of diseases can be prevented by healthy eating and exercise.
Definitely.
So I don't know. That's my opinion. But, you know, everybody to each their own. Everybody has their own opinion, and, you know, I respect it. You know, may not agree, but I respect it.
Do you ever find that you get some clients come in and they're like, oh, I was watching a YouTube video, or I was seeing this guy on Instagram and he told me I got to do this, I got to do that. Like, should I, you know, like they already come to you like with telling you what they should be doing, but you're like the fitness guy, you know, you're the one supposed to be telling them. Does that happen?
It happened. It's happened a couple of times, to be honest. My girlfriend actually does that all the time. It's like, oh yeah, I saw this influencer. She's like, look, she looks so good and this and that. And I'm just like, all right, you know, if you want to try that, go ahead. I don't recommend it, but, you know, do your thing, you know, because, you know, people are going to be like, and that's the thing, like with the whole influencer thing, it's kind of like, if you look good, like people are going to, oh yeah, he looks good. Let me just listen to him. You know what I mean? And it's happened quite a bit, but I also like, that exercise can be good, but if you do it this way or that way, or, you know, it's funny how like influencers always like, oh yeah, this is my workout, but never explain why they do each exercise. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's always short, to the point, just shows the exercise and then goes on to the next one, right?
Exactly. And it's not like you can ask the influencer questions. It's like, hey bro, why are we doing this? Then they're just like, here's my workout, either copy it or whatever, you know? And that happens quite a bit. I don't know if you guys, I mean, I see things a little different, but because I'm sure it's not something that you pay attention to or you notice.
No, yeah, it makes sense. It's never educational. It's always like, here's my workout. This is what I look like. If you want to look like me, do this workout. It's never
exactly.
explained.
But these dudes are already jacked, so it's like, oh yeah, here's like these crazy flippy push-ups, you know, clap behind the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy, but anyway.
And then it's always buy my supplement now, and then like for $49.99, and then you're gonna be like jacked like me and do their nice little plug.
Especially those that are like 100 grams of protein. Like your body can't even consume that in one meal. You know what I mean? But you know, it's all, I don't know. The only thing that's like clinically proven to work is creatine protein. Clinically proven. So like, that's why people are like, oh, what BCA should I buy? What this, what that? I'm like, honestly, like pre-workout is just considered caffeine. So that's obviously, it's up to you. If you want to take pre-workout, it's up to you. Like if you need a little kick in the butt to work out and have energy, I understand, because, you know, people don't sleep well. I can say that from example. Like I work graveyard, so my sleep routine's all jacked up. So there's days where I wake up and I don't want to work out. So guess what? Got to get a little caffeine in me, you know?
Dry scoop it? That's a good question. How do you feel about supplements? Like, do you recommend them to your clients? Do they come to you asking those questions?
Honestly, I would say like if you eat like good portion meals, you have your protein, a little bit of carbs to replenish everything you lost. I would, from what I prefer the eating real food. But you don't always get that opportunity. Like you'll be on the go, so let me just have a quick protein shake, and then So it's just it's up to the individual. What I say is like if you really want protein, then go ahead and buy protein. But I just recommend you eat a good meal. Not that I'm a registered dietitian, but I give recommendations. I don't prescribe diet plans, but I recommend like what kind of protein do you like.
Yeah, that's a good conversation because we were talking a little bit about that before, and it's a very tricky line to kind of flirt with. It's like do you ever have clients that come up to you and ask like, hey, what should I be eating? Can you make me a diet plan?
I get that literally every client's like, what should I eat? What should I eat? And I'm just like, okay, what do you like to eat? Like, we're not talking McDonald's, what you like to eat, but I'm saying...
it's like on second
like pizza, chicken wings, ice cream.
And they're just like, damn, man. No, but seriously, I just I ask them like, hey, what proteins? Like, do you like chicken? Do you like shrimp? I like to stay on the leaner proteins. And it's all about, what you like. It's all preference because, some people like chicken, some people don't like chicken. I'm a chicken person, so if I go to Chipotle, I'm getting chicken every time. And you know what I mean? It's just, I prefer chicken. Some people prefer red meats. It just, some people prefer seafood. Seafood's got a ton of a high protein source, shrimp, all that stuff, So I just say, okay, what kind of protein do you like? And then they go from there. I'm like, yeah, if you like that, but everything's in moderation, right? The caloric deficit's what's important if you're trying to lose weight. Negative caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you can eat healthy, but if you eat way more than you should, you're probably not going to lose weight. And that's a big thing. And for people that are trying to, kind of hard, like, let me turn around my package. What am I eating? So there's like my Fitness Pal is pretty cool too. You can keep your calorie tracker, you scan whatever you eat, and it does all the math for you, which is pretty cool. And it's free. You don't find that pretty often. So I like my Fitness Pal. It's pretty cool.
And do you have, for those people that don't, I also recommend MyFitnessPal. And for those people that are listening that don't know how to calculate what they should be eating or how many calories they should be consuming in a day, like, do you know that formula?
Everybody's body is different. So like, depending on how much weight you want to lose. So the cool thing about back to MyFitnessPal is that it literally asks you the questions and you plug in and it does the math. Like, how much percentage of your meals should be carbs? How much percentage should be fats? How many percentage should come from protein? And that's the cool part, that you don't got to do the math. So everybody's formula would be a little different.
What is it called? Like the body mass index, or what is it?
BMI.
No, that's your BMI.
Though.
That's a little different. Yeah, that okay. You include that into the formula.
Gotcha.
And the BMI is kind of like your body mass index. Like, there's different ways, like, they got the little thing where it sends electric current through your body, which if you're trying to cheat, you drink a bunch of water, the electricity current goes faster through water. So it'll say that you're a lot leaner than what you really are. But there's different ways to I like to use the skin fold one. Like, there's 7 sites and you measure the skin folds with the calipers. I don't know if you guys they've done that on you.
I've seen it. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I like that one because it's feasible. You don't need like a ton of equipment. So you just get the calipers and then you kind of measure all the sites. And then, the one that's really unrealistic, but the most accurate is underwater weighing. So it's hydrostatic weighing. So it'll tell you your lean muscle. Like, that's crazy. We got a blessed tub in San Bernardino. We had one of those. And dude, it's sick. Like, you hold your breath, you go underwater, and it kind of tells you how much body fat percentage is lean. It's crazy. But, it's not realistic. Those things are crazy expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how would you explain like your plan, like your workout plans whenever you get clients? Is it just what they prefer? Is it like more lifting? Is it more body exercises? Is it more cardio? Like, how do you go about it?
So most of the client, I mean, not most, but a significant amount want to lose weight. So how I usually get them is, I like to focus a little bit on HIIT, high intensity interval training. And that's kind of like, everything's super quick. I wouldn't say like CrossFit, but it's like, how there's like really minimal rest. So if you're coming here and trying to lose, that's how you burn the most calories. So my opinion, I say, if you're trying to lose weight, this is how you get the most bang for your buck in that time frame. So I'll have them do like a circuit. So like I like to do either upper body or lower body because they come to work out with me either 2 or 3 times a week. Does that make sense? So, and then I explain to them like, okay, what are the major upper body muscle groups? And because like I said, I like to teach, so I'm kind of a little nerd or whatever. So I teach them and then like, oh, chest, back, shoulders. So how I go about that is we'll do one of each. And then I always incorporate cardio, whether it's I have an assault bike or like dragging the sled on the turf that I have. Like it's just pretty much depending, we change it up because people don't like working out and having the same workout over and over and over. It just gets boring. So we change it up. We mix it up a little bit. And then we do lower body too. And for the lower body, we do, the big thing is we do quads, hamstrings, and then we incorporate core. And then also cardio portion involved. So that's kind of for like my people that are trying to lose weight. So I do it like that. And then for my athletes, it's a lot different. And that's what I try to explain to people. It's like, if you're an athlete, you got to train like an athlete because train like a bodybuilder or whatever, hitting chest one day, back one day, that, but arms, like, and what sport do arms help you? Your arms? It's a lot more of a lower body, but yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what I try to explain to people, and people don't get it until it's like they come here and then they do sports specific training. And then they go back, and when they're playing with their teammates, they're like, oh, why am I faster than these dudes? Why am I stronger than these dudes? And it's like, that's when you notice, because when you're here doing your own stuff, you're kind of like, oh, because sports specific is not really aesthetic. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to look hecka shredded. I'm going to look super good. It's more performance. We focus on performance. So for my athletes, initially when they come in, like I do an assessment. So it's pretty much like, we're getting your max for everything, whether it's broad jump, 40-yard dash, 60-yard dash. We do all the initial assessments. And then after we've done our plan, we do everything all over again. And then you see the gradual or actually significant increase from the beginning to the end. And they're like, holy smokes, like this is crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah, and like it's easy. It's a lot better when they visually see like the changes. You know what I mean? Because the performance is not always going to be like, oh, I got the biggest chest or I got the biggest back. It's not like that. It's more of, I got to excel in whatever sport I do. And yeah, like for example, Izzy, when we would all be training and we would all be playing, like everybody was on the same level because everybody was doing everything the same, whether, weight changes, whatever, but like you wouldn't notice like a significant increase until you would go back home and play against your people that you used to normally play with. And you're like, damn, like, why am I that much faster than everybody?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or why am I that much stronger than everybody? Like, that I didn't notice because everybody that you were training with at Cal State or whatever you're playing, everybody's doing the same thing. So it's normal.
Everyone's growing together.
Exactly. So when you leave that what is called that little group and you go back to playing with your Sunday League homies, it's like, what the hell? Like that guy used to be faster than me. And now, you can't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was, and it was crazy because I didn't realize it until I would come back home to visit and I would play and I was like, hold up, like, this ain't fair, bro. You know what I mean?
I'm the best player on the field. That's hella fun. And it's so funny, too, because when you start off, or like even in high school, Gabe, like you should know this, there's no strength and conditioning. Like that's not an aspect of sports. The only sports that would work out would be football.
Football.
That's very much a big
Yeah.
part of the sport. But like in soccer, you would think, well, I don't want to start working out because I'll get stiff, or it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's this
Or
misconception.
you just think you don't
about
need it.
And
Yeah, you just
not only that, but there's like with soccer, there's so much. I don't know. It's soccer is hard. It's a hard sport because you're constantly playing. Like, you know, in football, you play once a week. You got that Friday night game, and then okay, we practice the next week, and then we play. Soccer, you got 2 games a week. You got training. It's kind of hard to like, okay, let's get these kids in, but I don't know if they're too fatigued from the practice. So soccer is a very hard sport to like, you know, to train around because it's so demanding, and you know, you're doing it, especially high school, you're doing it so often. You play what, 2 times a week, 3 times a week.
yeah, twice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's the hard part. And you know, I don't know. I feel like high schools don't really give enough, you know, effort, or like, unless it's football, because football is the one that generates money. In my opinion, that's what usually the schools are focused on. Like, how often do you see football stadiums compared to soccer stadiums? They just paint the soccer lines on the football stadium. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very true.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
What kind of athletes have you worked with? Like what sports?
I've worked with baseball. I've worked with soccer. I've actually worked with this guy that boxes. So I've worked with multiple athletes, but I live in the Central Valley. It's all bicycles. We all play soccer, so that's the big one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
And so soccer is pretty much the most one. And then my little brother, he plays soccer at UC Davis, so we work a little bit here. And yeah. So
I was gonna say.
it's a lot of.
Okay, so let's say you get a guy from baseball. You didn't grow up playing. I don't know if did you grow up playing baseball?
No, I didn't. I was
Okay, so
terrible, man.
if a baseball player comes to you, or a football player comes to you, or a basketball, like how do you go about getting workouts for them so it can be beneficial to that sport?
Yeah. So all the sports that you named are ground-based sports. Everything's on the ground. I mean, except basketball, you're thought of jumping, right? But in every sport, what's the foundation? Lower body is pretty much the foundation for everything. So it's a lot of similar things, except like what changes is like the overhead stuff. Like baseball, it would be different because it's a lot of overhead movement. So we focus a lot on overhead. Like it would be the same for baseball and volleyball. You know what I mean? And it was cool because when I was in San Bernardino doing my internship, so I would train literally all sports. So it was at San Bernardino, we had volleyball, we have cross country, we had literally everything. We had baseball, we had track, we had soccer, we had men's soccer, women's soccer, and basketball. So I got kind of to see how to train everybody. And shout out to Matt, man, that dude's a good. So he kind of explained why we would do certain things and like why the focus for this athlete would be that, And so I would, I'll do my research, like for everything. You don't just know everything from the top of your head. You do your research and be like, okay, this is important, but why? Or, you kind of have to analyze like what makes athletes excel in their sport. Like for basketball, actually I did train a basketball player, sorry. And what he would tell me, we do a lot of jumping, a lot of strength. So what he would tell me is like, bro, like I could dunk before, but I wouldn't get as high as I do now, like after we were trained. So it was just a lot, give him a little bit more bounce. So it was actually really good.
How do you get your clients? Like, do you post it on social media or do you use it word of mouth? Like, what do you usually do to get people to come to you?
As of recent, I'm just like terrible at social media, man. I'll be honest. That's my weakness, and I know it, man. I just don't really.
You should get Izzy to help you.
I know, seriously. But the thing is that it's just word of mouth, man. That's been the biggest one. Like I'll train one person, and then he'll bring 3 or 4 friends, and then those 3 or 4 friends will bring a few more friends, and that's kind of how it's kind of worked. I've been blessed, like, I don't know, maybe I'm doing something right, or like, maybe I've impacted somebody. Because to me, I've actually trained quite a bit of high school kids too, and like to me, it's more than just like, you're my client and it's professional and that's it. I like to like build relationships. That's my big thing, And like I offer resources. Like if I can help the kids in any way, shape, or form, I will. And that's a little different, That's just kind of like me. I wish I had that guidance a little bit when I was younger, but it is what it is. So I want to be able to provide a resource for someone else. So yeah, so I word of mouth, I would say mostly. Social media, it's rare, but I just suck, man. I'm just terrible.
No, it's hard.
Just being honest.
It's very hard. It's hard to be consistent because it's like, dude, again, life gets in the way. And I'm like, damn, I didn't post today. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, you always want to post. You always want to be kind of active on people's minds about that. But again, it's like your area is kind of difficult because it's like, if I follow you and I'm from Fort Bragg, it's like I can't really be a client. I don't know how you do that. Do you do online training as well?
I do, but it's kind of hard for me because I like the people to come in at least once so we can do the movements correctly, and I can give you like those cues, like the cues like, okay, don't shift your weight this way or don't turn your weight this way, because then that's how you kind of create an imbalance if you start doing movements incorrectly. So it's just hard. I offer online training, and I'll just like FaceTime them and be like, okay, let me see you do these movements. And then from what I can see, because that's kind of the best that I got. I'm not going to drive out to Fort Bragg and be like, hey, bro, let's work out. You know what I mean? I don't have that luxury. That's kind of, I guess I can say that. But in the future, like, I got some plans, some things in the mix that we could possibly do.
Yeah. I would say that's something that I have seen is like online coaching. They send in like tape of themselves doing a certain workout, but it's like you said, it's not the same. Like if you're there helping me and Gabe work out, like you can correct our movement. You can tell us in real time instead of just like, okay, I'll go back and I'll try to do it again based on Wichi's feedback, but it's like, it's not the same. What if I go back and I make another mistake or just don't even change it as much or lack mobility in a certain part? And it's like, okay, you're not being able to go down because you lack mobility here, but you don't see that on the tape. You could see it in real time, like it's way different.
100%. And like, that's why that dude from Squat U, that dude's book is legit, man, because he explains like all the major like mistakes that people do, like whether it's an injury or how it's an injury and why it's throwing it off. And then it's so sick because in that book it explains like the major ones, like coming back from a knee surgery, and then he explains how you can tell something is off and how to correct it or how to fix it. That dude's book, man, it's legit.
Yeah. And so you do all your workouts from your garage? Is that where all that's coming from, or that's where it's all done? Yeah,
pretty much. Well, for now, that's how it's been. I'll show you guys. I could flip the camera or whatever.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me.
Yeah.
Give us a tour of the gym
right now. So I got 2 squat racks. So that one's like wall attached or whatever, and then I have just like a regular squat rack right here. And then there's kind of a mess right now, but I have my assault bike. I have some turf like on the ground. And then I have all my stall mats. There's some stuff. I also have like those Normatec boots. I have some Normatec boots right here. Those are for the recovery. I like to do a lot of recovery stuff just because of how important it is. And then those are the shorts that I haven't dropped yet, so I can't show those. I just bought this cable machine, which is pretty dope. And got some battle ropes, got some kettlebells. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's I kind of run out of space. There isn't really much I can do. Your garage is only so big.
Right.
So I got all the essentials though. I got like dumbbells, I got kettlebells, I got literally everything I need. I got it. And then it just, creativity, because, there's always modifications. There's always things you can do with everything. And that's the thing that people,
setup.
And that's the thing that people get like so closed down. Like, I need all this equipment to work out. Like, no, you don't. This is kind of like a luxury that I have. But it's awesome. And like I said, this is just temporary. Trying to work, save up some money, and trying to open up buy a warehouse and start like a legit gym.
Have you looked into like the logistics or what that would cost? Like, would you have to purchase the property? Can you just rent out the property?
I could, but the thing that scares me with the renting is that, things like COVID, I know that never happens. But the COVID thing put a lot of people under, and it kind of opens your eyes. Like, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. And the thing too, it's like, I don't know, not everybody's like that, but I've seen where like, people are having success building. They start with like an initial, this is my rent. And then they invest a lot of money into, the facility. And then for some reason the landlord sees that you're really successful. They're like, you know what, we're going to raise the rent this much. And it's like, your hands are tied behind your back. What do you do? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to pay the rent, or you're going to have to relocate. And imagine all the money that you've invested into that spot, whether it's putting turf in, whether it's painting, whether it's doing a bunch of stuff. And I don't want to be in that situation where, like, someone kind of has a little bit of authority over somebody. And, that's just not how I like to roll. So my plan is to actually buy the warehouse and do it like that. I know it's going to take a lot longer or whatever, and like the logistics can be a lot more expensive, but that's the route that I want to take personally.
Dude, that'd be sick. That's baller shit right there, dude. Hell yeah, you want to take your own destiny into your own hands. You don't want it to be like in the hands of a landlord.
Exactly, dude. Imagine, like, I've just seen it so much where it's like, oh yeah, bro, it's, we're gonna move your rent to, it jumped from like $1,500 to $2,000 or something. The cost of living is going up. Like, what do you do then? You know what I mean? That's just like, you're kind of screwed. You're in a bubble because you're like, well, I'm doing so well here. Like, I don't want to relocate because everybody knows where I'm at already. And then you just have to pay. So that's the crappy part. But
are there a lot of gyms in your area that you'd be like competing with if you were to open up a warehouse and do something around there?
Not really. There's a few actually. The In Shape, just because of COVID, they've kind of like shut down for good, I think. So that was kind of like the big one in Ceres where I live, like a smaller town. But no, there's not too many.
Do you have an idea of how big the warehouse would be? Or how big, like when you picture in your mind, this is what I want for a gym. Like, what does the size look like? What kind of equipment do you have in there? What is the setup? Is it like, you know how like CrossFit gyms look different than just kind of like regular Anytime Fitness with a lot of machines? Is it going to be a lot more free weight? Is it going to be like more facilities?
I want to do a mesh of both.
Okay.
I kind of, all right, screw it. I'm just going to do my whole business plan out right here.
Yeah.
No, but
why not?
The thing is, like, I want to do both because, I'm currently working at the hospital, so I can't do a gym where it's just like a CrossFit gym where people don't know how to do stuff and then show up to the gym. And I personally like the idea of a membership gym, just a regular, you can go work out. You know how to work out. You don't need me there. You can go do your own thing in there, And then the people that don't know how to work out can also go there, and then we can teach you how to work out. That's kind of the plan. So I want to do a mix of both. And then, so it'd be like, so it'd be free weights and machines, but I also want to have like a back area, like open. So I can do like, whether it's, classes or whether I just work with like athletes, I can do a clinic, or I can even just bring kids in to teach them how to do proper exercises. Cause I feel like that's a big thing that we're lacking right now. It's just, the obesity rates are crazy. Like it's like 1 in 3 or something. It's nuts. And it sucks because I see it firsthand when I'm working at the hospital. I'm like, dang, man, like, this could have all been avoided. You know what I mean? And it's sad, to be honest, because for the kids, you're only going to eat whatever your parents eat or whatever your parents feed you. You kind of, you can't look out for yourself. And that's like a big thing where it's like, we kind of need to shed some light here, during this COVID thing. Like, we're not pushing the right things. Like, if how do you defend yourself? You got to have a healthy immune system. How do you have a healthy immune system? You eat right, you exercise, and you sleep well.
Yeah.
And, and it sucks. Like, it sucks that, we, in society, we push more materialistic stuff to be the most important things. When materialistic stuff doesn't matter. Like, it really, in my opinion, it doesn't. You're trying to impress somebody that doesn't even care about you most of the time. And Sorry, I don't want to get on a rant or anything.
No,
So.
you're good,
No,
bro. You're
you're
good. It's very true. It's very sad to see like that whole
Yeah.
obesity. You know what's funny too, Gabe, is that when I was in Mexico, like you barely see any fat people. Like
Uh-huh.
everyone there walks, or they bike. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a different lifestyle over there, and I would never see any like overweight people, or hardly see them. And if it was like older like dads, but it was more like a beer gut or like just stocky, but not like obese to where
It's all the beer. It's all the beer.
it is
bro.
100% the beer, 100%. But it was very like that was an observation that I had, and I was just like, damn, there's not a
Yeah.
lot of fat people over here. Just very.
And that's
strange.
crazy because when I was in college, I took a nutrition class, and in there, like they explained how like the setup of grocery stores is, where they have like sugary cereals towards the bottom where kids are gonna go and grab it. They have all the candies on smaller shelves where they can go grab it and put into the thing, and chips, anything that has a like high process and stuff is all down low, so the kids can grab and throw it into the carts for the parents to buy. And I just thought that was so crazy how I never realized that. And then I went to the grocery store like the day after that, and I was just like looking around. I was like, holy crap, like they're right. And that's probably part of the problem why there's so like a huge, obesity epidemic here in America. It's crazy.
It's crazy how good they've gotten to like guess consumer behavior, but it like works in a negative
works.
way. You know what I'm saying?
100%,
It works
yeah.
100%, but it's like
That's how they do it.
yeah. So we already talked about the future plans for Pinnacle. Before we move on to talk a little bit about nursing, do you have any pros and cons for people trying to start a career in personal training?
Yeah, so the pros and cons is kind of like you work on other people's schedule, which is kind of hard because they're your clients. So you work when they want to come work out. And like from what's happened to me a lot is like a lot of people flake, like, and it's been hard because it's like, you cancel out your plans. You can't do anything else because you have an appointment scheduled with the client and they don't show up and you're just like, oh man, So that, I don't know, that's happened to me, but it's, varies and not everybody's clients are going to be like that. And so that's definitely a con. And then another con would kind of be like, people just aren't patient. You know what I mean? People are just like, now, I want to see now. But they're not willing to stop going out on the weekends, and eating bad. So it's kind of like, and then guess who gets blamed? It's the trainer. My trainer doesn't work.
Yeah.
My trainer doesn't work. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. How'd you eat this weekend? Oh, bro, I had McDonald's. I had this. I had that. I'm like, come on, dog. Like, what do you expect to happen then? You know what I mean? But that's part of the game, and yeah. But the pros outweigh the cons by so much, man. Like whether somebody like they first come in and then I bring up a pull up and everybody gets terrified of pull up. Oh hell no, I can't do that. I'm like, you can, it just takes time, but you will be able to. And then you see them hit that pull up and it's like, bro, like, it's like a little kid in a candy store, just, face brightens up. It's like, dude, I never thought that was going to be able to happen. And like, thank you. Or, somebody just masters the movement. And it's like, dude, when I first started working out, I couldn't even do the bar. I was doing dumbbells, like for a squat. Now I could hit, 35s. It's crazy. So it's just a progression. I don't know. And to me, that's, or, having someone reach their fitness goals. Like I'm happy with my body. I always had patients come in that they were insecure and, it just gives you confidence, just, seeing the transition from like them being like super secluded and they don't really want to go out to like over here posting shirtless pictures. You know what I mean? It's like, and then to me, that's kind of why I love doing it. You know what I mean? And, so the cons are nothing compared to the pros,
Yeah,
I would say, in my opinion.
And
then you don't make a lot.
Oh, sorry, what?
Sorry. And then you don't make a ton of money because, for me, I'm training out of my garage. It's kind of like I can't be charging crazy amount to like hold up, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are the cons, and then but the pros, yeah.
No, I feel that. Damn, I didn't even think about that, like not charging crazy rates because you're in a garage. That would have never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anybody complain about what you charge?
People will be like, because I used to charge $10 a session, and the sessions last like an hour and a half, bro. So I'd be making less than minimum wage. You know what I mean? And then people, and people would lag because $10 to people was like, whatever, I don't really care. So how I like to do stuff is if like somebody comes by themselves or like two people, it'll be $15 per session. And then if they bring like three or more, then we can do $10 each. That's kind of how I like to do it because I don't know, my time is still worth something. You know what I mean? And then the gym equipment is like crazy expensive. I'm sure you know, Izzy. And, you know, I'm providing you not only the equipment, but I'm providing you, you know, I'm teaching you, I'm educating you. Like, you know, I think that's worth something. But, you know, yeah, I've had people come in and just be like, oh, bro, $15 is too expensive, this, and that. I'm like, bro, you go out to the bars, you spend over $100 on the weekends. Like, come on, let's be honest. Like, would you rather invest in your health or I mean, you know, it's hard because people, like I said, back to materialistic things. People would rather buy $300 shoes than pay for, you know, not here in general, would pay for a $60 membership a month.
Yeah, priorities, dude.
I think
different priorities.
Society, I think it's society too, but yeah, everyone makes a choice.
Dude, one thing that I was gonna ask earlier, it's like that would be like a tricky situation. I was telling Gabe about this earlier, but like you mentioned a little bit about it when you're like, oh, and this girl, like if she goes to work out at another gym, like I don't care. That's a very selfless way to think about it. But it's like, what if you're so good at your job that it's like they don't need you anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like you taught them the workouts that they need. You taught them like the major muscle groups and what they should be hitting and the movement and stuff. It's like, does that ever cross your mind? It's like, I'm not going to teach them this much, or you are going to teach them this much. Is that your goal? Like, do you want to launch them on to do better? Like, how do you think about that?
I do it that way. Honestly, like that's my big thing. It's like, I like to teach, man. So I'm not going to hold knowledge from you because I don't expect you to work out with me for 50, 60 years. Like that's just not realistic. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, it would be cool, you know, like, you know, I can see your progression all the way through, but I have a couple of clients who like, you know, they come, they learn what they need to learn and they bounce. And that's okay with me. I honestly, I don't take any offense. I just want to see you go out and keep working out, man. That's more important to me than, you know, having you come train here. And then, but that's what I think. I keep my clients on their toes. Like I'll be like, okay, so what are we doing today? What are we working out? And then, so they explain it to me. And if they're able to explain it to me, then they can explain it to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, honestly, I don't get offended. Like you know, it is what it is. As long as you're applying it somewhere else or you're teaching someone else, we're good, man.
That's a good approach. I was also going to ask, how many clients do you like to have at once? Like, what is what's good for you to manage? Like, what's too much? What's too little? Like, what's the sweet spot?
So I would say about 4 or 5 is good because of the limited space that I have. I think that's probably where I'd be like, all right, let's just cut it right here, you know?
Oh, you mean like there physically 4 or 5 people?
Yeah, at the same time. Because
but like, I mean just like in general, like you obviously schedule them for different days, and it's kind of tough because you have you're also working as a nurse as well. But like, how many overall, like how many people do you like overseeing?
Honestly, man, whatever I can handle, like the workload I can handle, I really don't be like, okay, I cut people off. I did push quite a few people away because, you know, people don't like working around my schedule, and that's kind of how it is right now. And it's hard. I understand. Like, I'm like, you know what, bro? Like, I get it. You have your own life and you got your own plans, and you know, this is kind of the situation I'm in. If you want to keep training, cool. If you don't, cool, man. I understand. Like, you know, no, not offended. But I don't know. I would say, I don't know what's manageable. Right now, I probably have like 7 or 8 around there right now because like I work 3 days a week, but it sucks because that last day that I work, I still have to sleep till like 2-3 p.m. at least because I gotta get some kind of sleep, you know. And yeah, I think whatever I can handle, honestly. Like, sometimes I overdo it, but I love doing it, so it doesn't feel like a job to me. But then it's kind of hard because I also have to make time for my girlfriend, for my family, you know what I mean? For myself too, because obviously I got to keep working out too. So
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It sounds tough. But like, when do you find time to work out? When do you prefer to work out, or how many times a week?
I usually work out. I want to say, like, realistic speaking, probably like 3 to 4. 3 to 4 is good because, like, the first day I work out before I go to work, which is not bad. But the day after the first day, because I usually work back to back, I'm exhausted, bro. Like, I'm just like, I'm tapped out. So that day I'll probably I probably won't lift. I'll probably do a little bit of on the cardio on the bike. But I try to stay as active as I can, man. It's hard. And then when people are like, I can't do it, I understand. You have to make it a priority, and it's hard. It's just the truth. Eating healthy is hard because you got so many options. Everything is hard, but you just got to choose your heart. Whatever's your priority, then you focus on that. If it's not important to you, then hey, I understand. Everything's about choices.
Damn. So transitioning over to nursing, I don't know if you already mentioned this. I'm sorry if you did. And if this is a stupid question, I'm also sorry. But, like, are there different types of nurses? Like, what is your role as a nurse? What do you do?
Dude, like it's just crazy. There's so many things you can do as a nurse. It's like, wow, you could work at a school. You could work for public health. You could do research. You could do so much stuff, man. And that's the cool part about nursing, that you could there's also home health. Like, have you heard of home health? So you're at your house and nurses come to your house and take care of you at your house.
Is that mainly, like, old people?
It's anybody, man. Like, say, like, being at the hospital is scary, bro. I'm going to be honest. Like, for patients, I'm sure it's scary. Just from what I've seen, it's scary, dude. So, I mean, imagine the comfort of, like, being taken care of at your own house. That's pretty sick, And then the cost is a lot cheaper, Being at the hospital is expensive.
Absolutely. I feel like mentally as well, it'd be easier to be like, if I'm at the hospital, it's because there's something wrong with me. But if I'm at home, it's manageable.
And then a lot of people are like, you get anxious, like, oh, what's going to happen? Is everything good? And that's not an environment, it's hard to recover when you're in an environment like that, or to rest and stuff.
Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say that kind of leads to a question that I have is, like, so when you go into work every day, is there like something new that you're doing every single day because there's a new person every day, or is it like something consistently that you do every day when you go to work?
So I don't know if I'd call it luck, because I wanted to work in the emergency room, but that didn't work out. So my first job, I got my first job. I worked float pool. So that department, you don't have a specific floor, because there's different floors. Like, there's different, not specialties, but there's different, like in the hospital, there's like different departments. So one would be like respiratory. So if you have respiratory issues, they put you in that department. So kind of, it flows. Like, you come in through the emergency room sometimes, and then they kind of like stabilize you, and then they put you to the floor where you kind of belong to. Like, there's an ortho floor. So like, if you broke a hip, you go into ortho, because that's all the bone stuff. If you have respiratory issues, then you go to the respiratory department. If you have cardiac issues, you go to the cardiac department. You know what I mean? So
are you rotating around departments, or are they like nurses specialized?
So float, I literally, wherever they need me, I show up. So I get to see all the different floors. So that's kind of how I've been working. Right now I'm on orientation, so I still got like 2 more weeks till I'm on my own. So I'm kind of like, okay, you go to every department and you see all the departments you're going to work at. So whenever they need someone, they tell you what department to go to, because there's a bunch of different departments.
Is there one that you like more than the others, or is there one that you like kind of don't really want to go?
Yeah, what's your favorite and what's your least favorite?
Yeah.
All right, so I did, like, when I was in nursing school, you go to all the departments too, and I did emergency room, and that thing is lit, bro. Like, I know it sounds kind of messed up, but it's popping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of action.
It's popping. Like, there's a lot of action going on, adrenaline pumping. You're doing compressions. You're getting stroke patients. You're getting heart attacks. You're getting everything, man. So it's lit. Like, it's lit. But the days go by quick. And then there's also like med surge, where the patients are a lot more stable. And that one is more like, okay, do your assessment, give their meds. If they need food, you get them food. If you need to be cleaned up, so you clean them up. And then for me is night shift, so the patients sleep a lot of the night. So it's kind of hard staying awake. Like, charting on the computer, sitting down. Like during the day, you're a lot more active because there's a lot of stuff going on. But at the night, it's more like, okay, help them, get some rest, give them the meds that they need. So all the departments that I've been at have been really good. So I've bounced from like pediatrics. So I've been with like babies and kids. Initially I was like, I don't want to touch that baby. I don't want to drop him. But after a while, you're kind of like, come here, get up, come on.
He's fine. Grab by his ankle. He's good.
Nah, never. But I don't want to be people thinking I'm going crazy over here at the hospital. But so pediatrics, the med surg units. I haven't gone to ICU. So that's intensive care unit. That's like serious stuff going on. And then the ER, I haven't gone because I'm still in orientation. So it's kind of like probation. So I'm still doing that. I got 2 more weeks. Hopefully it keep me, but I haven't done anything stupid, so I should be fine. So last night I worked in this department called CDU. That was terrible, man. The reason why it sucked is because, so this is like clinical decision unit. It sucks because all you do is like admit patients, them. You got to do a skin assessment. You got to get them hooked up on the telemonitors. You got to make sure they're okay. And then you do your assessment. And then as soon as a bed opens up for them, they just get transferred. So you're literally doing that nonstop all night. And it's kind of like, it's busy, but it's kind of like very task based. So like, I got to get this done. I got to get that done. I got to get this done. Okay, you're done. All right, you're getting transferred. Next one. And it's just like, I don't know. Because it's hard to build like rapport. Like it's hard to like talk to your patients when you have them for like an hour, 45 minutes, and then they bounce. So like when I'm in other floors, like the other hospital floors, like depending on how long they stay, like if usually what the hospitals like to do is like to keep the same nurses, the same patients, if it's possible. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if I had a group one day and I also work the next day, if those patients are still there, they kind of give you those same patients. That way you already kind of interacted with the patient. You kind of know what's going on with the patient.
Is there a larger percentage of girls than guys, like nursing?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's that dynamic?
Yeah, no,
Interesting.
it's hard for me. It's hard for me to like, I keep to myself, man. Like, I don't know. I'm very like just super laid back. Like, I don't want to be involved in no cheese, man. Leave me alone. Like I'm over here outside my patient's hospital, like, and it's just hard, it's hard because like, I don't like sit there and like talk to the girls because I don't really have anything important to talk about. So I kind of just like do my own thing. Like and I bounce around. So it's not like I have like my homies working on the same floor. So it's kind of hard. So I kind of like just keep to myself, to be honest. And then if I have questions, I'll ask like the older nurses, like the people that have a lot of experience. I'll be like, hey, like, this is the situation I'm in. Like, what should I do? Or like, because dude, honestly, like nursing is literally all team based. It's all team based. Like, I need help. Can you help me move this patient up? Yeah, for sure. Let's pick them up because, patients are a little heavy. And sometimes they can't assist you or can't help you get up and turn. So you have to help. And so it's definitely more females. It's a profession. Like there's a lot more females than males at the hospital. And but I mean, it's cool. I don't really have issues. Because I keep to myself. I'm not really out there like, hey, what's going on? That's not really me. I kind of keep to myself. So, but I don't know. I've never had any issues. So it's been good.
What are your like long-term plans with nursing?
That's a good question, man.
Like, do you see yourself doing this for multiple years? It's going to be like your career and you're going to do personal training on the side, or like what, like how long do you see yourself there for?
I see myself there as long as I kind of have to be. I mean, because obviously the benefits are awesome. When you go your own business, then things shift a lot more. Like it takes more time from other stuff. So I think I'm going to do it as long as I can. Like, managing my business and the hospital, because I'm just entrepreneur mindset. Like, you're working for somebody else. You know what I mean? And when you're your own business, like, you're writing on yourself. And to me, there's nothing more, I don't know, how do I say this? There's nothing more rewarding than be like, you know what, like, it's all on me. I got to get it done one way or another. Because I don't really like relying on other people. I like doing it myself. That's just how I am. That's just how I was raised. Like, don't ask him to do it. Go do it yourself if you can. And I like that pressure of like, hey, it's riding on me. And like, I've always told myself, like, if it's on me, like, I'm going to do everything I can to make this succeed and not fail. So I always had that mentality. And yeah, man. So like I said, it's kind of a hard question to like do a time base, but as long as I can have attention on both things, if I feel like, the hospital is taking away too much attention from the gym and it's suffering, then it might be my time to call it at the hospital and just, strictly my business.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that you have options, you have a good career. If you want to stay at the hospital, you can do that. It's a great job. You're never going to
100%.
not have work. You know what I'm saying? Hospitals are always going to exist. But the good thing is that you got that side project and you can kind of drive it towards something much bigger. But it's exciting, dude. That's awesome. I remember when you first started, I was like, dude, hell yeah. Because we hadn't spoken in a while, and I just see Pinnacle Athletics followed you. I was like, damn, that's lit.
It's a sick name,
bro. That's very sick. How'd you come up with the name? We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
So Pinnacle Athletics, I want to be honest with you, man. I was going to go peak performance, like the top. Everybody's like, oh, that's catchy. That sounds cool. And so peak, there's already like a not a training facility, but like a physical therapy place called Peak Performance. That's kind of what I initially wanted, to be honest. But like, I was literally like on the works of doing the Peak Performance, and then like my uncle sends me a picture. He's like, hey bro, like, you're a little late to the game. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, there's already a place that has a name. And I was like, damn, well, you got to get creative and think something else. And I was like, what else means the top? Because obviously the goal is to get to the top, right? Whether it's in sports and life, whatever, you just want to excel. And I just thought, hey, Pinnacle sounds sick, man.
Just go to Google and type in
synonyms.
Peak synonyms. That'd have been hella funny. Just a list of crossed off words and just Google, does this peak athletics, they already exist. Top athletics, they already exist.
I'll never let the secret out, so I'll let you guys figure it out.
No, I feel that. That's hella funny.
It's a sick name, bro. It's a sick name.
That is a sick
Thanks,
name.
man.
Good merch too. I got a t-shirt, I got a jacket, and I got a hoodie. Highly recommend.
But you're a real one, man. You've been supporting me since freaking the beginning, man. I appreciate you big time.
Hell yeah, brother. I got you.
Honestly, man. Honestly.
So I think, Wichi, we talked about everything. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we ended? Or any questions that you had for us?
No. Just do you guys' thing, man. Whatever you want to crop or fix or whatever, just do your thing. I got faith in you guys. You guys are legit, man. I've been listening to all your guys' podcasts. You guys are badass, man.
Hell yeah,
it's
man.
sick, bro.
Appreciate it.
And thank you guys. I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of this, because I know, like, for me, like, my business means a lot to me, and I know this means a lot to you guys. And it's like, thank you guys for letting me be a part of this, man. This is sick, man. I appreciate you guys. Keep fucking rocking. You guys are killing it, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much. That means a lot. If there's anybody that's listening to this and needs any questions about health or any questions about a career in nursing, like, do you mind if they reach out to you?
Hell yeah. No, hell yeah. Go ahead. Dude, my big thing is, if I can help someone, I will. Whether I know you or I don't know you, if I can help you, I will. I'll be a resource. You just shoot me a message. And like I said, bro, if I don't know, I'll try my best to find the answer. Whether
Dude, I love that.
Whether it's nursing, whether it's working out, whether it's, food, whatever it is. Like, if I can help you, I will. My girlfriend probably isn't too fond of that, because she's like, why are you talking to these people you don't even know? I'm like, dude, who cares?
You're like, babe, it's work related. It's like all these hot girls on Instagram. Yeah. It's like, babe, it's research and developmental purposes specifically.
Why is that girl hitting you up? Why is that girl hitting you up about nursing school and stuff? I'm like, I don't know, dude. She just needs help. Like, it's not. Yeah. I don't see it like that, bro. Like, if I can help you, I will. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, but shit, it is what it is, bro.
No, Witchy, that's a great mindset to have, and that's something that me and Gabe talk a lot about, of like how willing people are to help other people. And it's like something that you're passionate about is working out and personal training and even nursing. Like you spent so many years doing it. And if there's anybody that wants to learn, like you're like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like a lot of people that we speak to are like that. And it's funny because I had a job interview today. And in the interview, that's something that I spoke about. I was like, well, realistically, like we didn't think that with me and Gabe when we started, Gabe, like we didn't think this was going to be a thing that people reach out to our guest as much. You know, that's why we kind of lay it out there at the end. Like if you make it this far in the episode, is it cool if people reach out to you? It's like, yeah, of course. And there's been so many people that have reached out to guests. And it's like, we're able to kind of create this network through our audience and our guests. And it's like, that's a resource. You know what I'm saying? Like originally why we started this is we didn't have that shit when we were growing up. Like we didn't have
100%.
who to talk to, like maybe Gabe, because he was in Partnership Scholars, like it was easier for you to kind of reach out to people that maybe alumni that went out to do that. But it's like when we were kind of going through the system, like we didn't have people to reach out that went to like a UC or a state school to play college soccer. You know what I'm saying? Like that was what me and Gabe wanted to do when we were younger, when we didn't have that resource. So it's like if we were to hear something like this back then, it's like what could that have done to our future? What could that have done to influence our decision making? So it's been really cool. And if like you have that open mind and you want to help and reach out to people or have them reach out to you, like, dude, that's key. Like that knowledge, that information is huge for someone's life.
And the reason like the relationship thing is so important to me is because like you never know when you're gonna need something. Like it's always cool to have someone that's like, this guy's a mechanic, that's my boy, you know? This guy does this guy does that, this guy does this, and it's like, you know what I mean? Everybody wins, bro. Like you don't gotta go hire some random mechanic. You can hire your boy and like, you know, pay him what you would pay a mechanic, but it's your boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. When I was younger, that's so funny. Yeah, when I was younger, I had an older cousin. Well, I still have an older cousin, but like he would always like how you say that, like a mechanic for this, like a chef that knows this, a personal trainer, like he would always have a guy for something. And I'm just like, dude, you literally know everyone. Like it's so cool that he had like a network. It's like, oh, you ever try lobster? No, I haven't. It's like, dude, I got a guy that just got lobster here. I'm gonna buy some and we'll barbecue tomorrow. I'm like, damn, it's lit. I'm like, how'd you get that granite countertop? It's like, oh, I have a friend that had some extra, and he's like, I just bought some off of him. Like, where'd you get that table? Oh, I got a buddy that makes tables. It's like, dude, how do you know all these people? Like, where are you getting all this information? Like, all these plugs, you know? So it's but it was in a very organic way. It wasn't like you go and you network at a fucking job fair and you meet these people hella awkwardly. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
yeah, that's not realistic, bro.
Yeah, it's like through connections. It's through people you meet. It's through your friends. You know, like a lot of like Serge. Like I met him through you. I met him through Angel. Like now it's like a good friend that I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's cool the way that works. And if anybody's listening to this and wants to reach out, like go for it. If you have any questions for Wichi, for us, go for it. Like it's difficult at times, you know. It is embarrassing to kind of reach out to a stranger, but like we're open. Wichi's open.
But
for it.
I think I feel more comfortable reaching out to a stranger that you probably will never see or have to worry about later. And dude, it's not like, you know, this dude knows me, he knows my past, he knows my history, I'm a piece of shit or whatever. Like nobody knows anything. You know, it's just the truth though. Like nobody knows anything. So like you ask them what's the worst that can happen, they don't respond. Oh well, you know. That's just the truth, though. That's my opinion, though. That's how I see it. It's like, fuck it. You're not going to know unless you try. So either you try or you just shut up and you don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I think that's a good note to end it on. Gabe, do you have any final questions or any final comments?
Hit up my boy Luis, man. If you guys have any questions on nursing or fitness, bro, hit my boy up.
Yeah, man. I'll be here, man.
We'll have all your tags. We'll have your social media linked below. So make sure you go follow Luis on Instagram. If you have any questions, make sure to reach out on Instagram. Make sure to give him a follow. Support. Whenever he drops merch, cop some merch. It's comfortable. It's good to work out in. I highly recommend it. Gabe said he's going to buy some next drop. But thank you so much for everybody listening at home or watching this on YouTube, and we'll catch you guys next week.
I appreciate y'all. Later, guys.